Anyway, my name's Christy, and I'm a little bit nervous. So I'm a brand new coach. I just started coaching on November 1st, so I've been at it for 2.5 months, and I'm a mama as well to 2 boys. I've got Ethan, who is just about 4, and Cameron is 8.5 months. So I'm currently on maternity leave, and I'm on leave until September. I took the extended leave. Anyway, so when I was on maternity leave with Ethan, with my first in 2016, I had a really hard time. Physically, emotionally, mentally, I really struggled through that maternity leave. It just felt like I was just surviving day to day. And I wanted it to be a little bit different this time, if at all possible. So once Cameron was about 2 months old, I sort of dived into personal development, almost accidentally. I stumbled across Rachel Hollis's books, Girl Wash Your Face and Girl Stop Apologizing. If you have not read these books yet, you need to run to your nearest bookstore as soon as this video is over. I swear it has changed my life. So one of the things she has us do is really envision your dream life 10 years from now. And I mean like dream life, like go big or go home. So I really, for the first time ever, started to think about it and started to consider the possibility that maybe the path I'm on right now doesn't have to be that way. Like I work in the insurance industry right now, and I'll get more into that as well, but I just thought that was my only option. And for the first time ever, I'd started to consider the fact that maybe I was made for more. Maybe there was something else I could do. So I made my list of what I want, what things I wanted to include in my list of my dream life. So there was 3 major things that came up for me. So health was first and foremost the biggest change I knew I had to make. So I made a list here. I'm just going to consult my notes because I don't have this memorized. But I had gained quite a bit of weight. I'd hurt my back a lot, like just before I got pregnant with Ethan. And then with 2 babies, like I ended up gaining probably 40 pounds or so. So I was definitely overweight. I have scoliosis as well, so it's pretty significant curvature in my spine. This causes like muscle imbalances, like major muscle imbalances. I have, a weak side and a strong side. And because of that imbalance, it can lead to a lot of like flare-ups. I'm prone to injuries, like I get hurt a lot. I'm often very sore, and the extra weight wasn't helping that at all. Like it made things worse. I was diagnosed with anemia, which was postpartum related due to a lot of blood loss after I had the babies. So in August I was diagnosed with anemia, and I was just very sluggish, extremely tired all the time. I couldn't get going. So I was struggling with that. I'm absolutely a sugar addict. My nutrition was piss poor. I don't love veggies. Like it was a huge struggle for me to try to get my head wrapped around those changes. But so getting rid of the sugar, my go-to meals were Kraft Dinner and pizza. Those were my favorite things. So that was going to be a huge thing to overcome. I also, like I said, had a stressful desk job, and just having a desk job where I was sitting 8 to 10 hours a day, I knew deep in my heart that was going to kill me. Like by the time I retire from that job, I wouldn't have any quality of life. My back would be shot. It was terrifying. Like I knew I couldn't keep doing that. I had also been, I'd just recovered from my second C-section, and I have an incredibly weak core. I had an incredibly weak core, and I didn't think I could even do the exercises because of that. And lastly, in 2014, I lost both of my parents within a few months of each other. Neither of them were very healthy individuals. My mom passed away at the age of 54 from pancreatic cancer, and my dad had just turned 60 when he died due to issues related to alcoholism. So it terrified me to think that I could be heading down a similar path. Both of them worked hard their whole lives just to look forward to retirement. My dad had actually got word, I think it was 3 days before he died, that he had been officially approved. He had worked for the federal government, so he had a really good pension. lined up, and 3 days before he died, he found out that he was now eligible for that pension, which was just makes me sick when I think about it. Anyway, the pension went to my mom. They had been separated, but not divorced, so she still got his pension. And literally, like, it was the day he died that she was in the hospital with extreme pain, trying to figure out what was wrong. And like within a week, she was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. So she had just got this amazing windfall of money, and all of a sudden she only had a few months left to live. And she had also worked her whole life, just for what, right? Like to look forward to retirement. I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to do that. Like, oh gosh, it makes me like really upset just to think about it. I just couldn't let that be me. So health first and foremost. I knew I had to make some changes. Second was financial freedom. So I am married to an accountant, so he does run a pretty tight ship when it comes to our finances. So we don't have, pardon me, I'm just going to take a drink of water. We don't have, your typical debt. Like, we have our house and one of our vehicles, but I'm a shopper. Like, I like to spend money, and I don't want my accountant husband questioning what I'm buying. So I've always wanted to have a house cleaner, like always, and he's always been dead set against it. Pardon me. So, he figures that we can clean our own house and we're not ever paying anybody to do it. But I disagree. So I thought if I can make my own money, then maybe we can get a cleaner. So that was one of the things. And like getting my lashes done and my nails done. Oh my God, my nails are a mess right now. I get them done on Friday. And like, what else? Oh, home renovations. Oh my gosh. Like, our house is nice. Like, it's fine. But I have so many, like a huge list of renovations I want to do. Just for fun. Like, I just don't want to have to worry about where the money's going to come from. We love to take the kids to the beach in the summer. I want to be able to rent a cottage for like, a week in the summer and not have to worry about where the money's coming from. So that was the second thing. The third thing was freedom of time. I was sick, I'm still sick of the idea of a Monday to Friday 9 to 5 job where once I've got 2 kids in daycare, then like half my paycheck is going just to cover daycare, which is crazy. Anyway, so that was one of the other things, freedom of time. Now, that being said, I'm not cut out to be a stay-at-home mom. So I think like my ideal was always like, I want to work part-time so I can have the best of both worlds. But then I looked back at, okay, well, I also want the financial freedom. So I'd need a full-time pay in order to have that, but I only want to work part-time. So it kind of felt like a catch-22. And as I was kind of going through this thought process in my head, I just kind of felt defeated. Like, well, it's just, proof that you can't actually have it all. So at this point, like, I had been following Allie, my coach, who we heard from this morning, on social media for probably about a year. I saw her posts, I read them, I didn't, scroll past them. But it didn't really resonate with me. Like, I felt so far removed from anything she was talking about. It was almost like I had a mental block. And then after I had done this exercise of envisioning my dream life and I made my list of everything, it was probably the next day and I read one of her posts and then it just clicked. Like, I was like, oh my God, she literally has everything I want. She has everything on my list. So then all of a sudden I had to think about this a little bit deeper. And the thing is too, she was in the exact same position I'm in right now when she started. She was on mat leave with her second baby, wanting something more for herself. So I was like, I want that. Like, and I want it bad. All of a sudden it was just a possibility. Let me just change over my notepad here. Okay, so this is where the limiting beliefs came in. And I know everybody can relate to this. The first thing was I didn't think I could do the workouts. Like, I felt so weak and out of shape. And like I said, my back issues, all of that. I was like, I can't be a coach if I can't even do the workouts myself. So I immediately kind of thought, well, then I can't do it. I'll have to, maybe next year once I'm in shape. Or I started to make excuses. I thought I don't have many, followers on social media. So no one, I might get a couple people, but that's about it. And I certainly wasn't about to be a salesperson. Absolutely not. I had no interest in doing that. Like, what would people think? So I chickened out. I took the easy road. I signed up for Morning Meltdown 100. This was last July. I signed up as a challenger, not a coach. I really didn't think I'd stick with it. I'd never stuck with a program like this before. I just thought, I have to start somewhere. And Allie did say, like, anybody can do this program. You can modify it. Like, you can do this. So I just thought, well, I'll give it a try. And I had no expectation that I was going to commit. So anyway, during this time, I kept watching Allie, and it was actually right around this time that she was at the annual Beachbody conference, which I've heard is amazing, and I can't wait to go this year. And she shared that Rachel Hollis was the keynote speaker. I nearly died. Like, that is my dream. Like, what was I doing? I was sitting back watching somebody else live my dream life, like live out my dreams, as I was sitting here on my phone watching it from a distance. Gods, I knew then that I had to do this. Like, I had to just jump. But guess what? I still didn't do it. It's crazy. So what I did do, though, was I started to share on social media about what I was doing. I started to share my workouts. I started to share my weight loss journey. And before long, people started to notice. I got messages from people asking, what kind of program I was doing, letting me know that, I inspired them and that they enjoyed watching my stories and they found it really motivating. So anyway, I was also doing like daily personal development. Like I said, I had kind of fallen into that after Cameron was born, and I was really enjoying it. So I was listening to all these awesome podcasts, reading personal development books. I was literally doing everything a coach does. I just wasn't getting paid. During this time, I had 2 friends sign up for Beachbody and just went online and signed up under some random coach that they didn't even know, because I still wasn't a coach. Yeah, I was the one that inspired them to sign up. Like, I don't know, I just couldn't get my shit together. Anyway, so finally, I think Allie messaged me and she's like, girl, what are you waiting for? So anyway, I think at that point, I was like, okay, no, you're right. Like, it's time for me to just do this. But like everybody else, I was afraid to fail. I think every single person that's ever signed up as a coach is afraid to fail. I don't think there's ever anybody that didn't have that fear. I wanted to be successful so bad because I had this vision of my dream life, and I wanted it so bad that the thought of failing would be devastating. Like, I was terrified. But then I thought, the idea of failing because I wasn't even willing to try, because I was afraid of what other people would think, that was even more scary. So I had to just let it go. Like, I had to stop worrying about what other people thought about me and focus on what I wanted. And like, was it Allie that said earlier, like, don't let other people determine your level of success. So anyway, that's when I went all in. That was November 1st. And I want to share with you how that's benefited me over the past 2.5 months. So I have lost 36 pounds. So not in the past 2.5 months, but since July when I signed up for Morning Meltdown 100. I did commit to the program, and now I'm doing a second round of it again. So I've lost 36 pounds. I've made $691 since November 1st. I've made the most amazing friends who I can't wait to get to know better, because like Tracy said, they are, oh my God, so inspiring. Like, you cannot fail. You can't help but be inspired when you're around these girls. And it's just the most powerful feeling. So it's the best friendships, and I'm so excited for that. And honestly, for me, coaching has been the ultimate accountability. Like, I did the 3-day refresh program the first week of January. It's just like a cleanse. And by the second night, I think I messaged Allie and I was like, oh my God, I want to cheat so bad. I just need a treat. Like, I just want some carbs. But I knew this program worked. I knew it was effective, and it was my job to show people that, to show how good it can be. So I stuck with it. Honestly, if I wasn't coaching, I absolutely would have had a treat that night, and I probably wouldn't have had the same results. I ended up losing 5.5 pounds in 3 days. So other days it's just like, I don't want to get my workout in because my baby likes to start his day at 5 a.m. and I'm often exhausted. And this morning I woke up feeling, unmotivated, like I just, wasn't feeling it. I'd only lost 0.2 pounds this week. And, I just kind of felt like I was struggling and I was really tired. And I knew my boot campers were waiting for me to check in. I always get my workout done in the morning. And I've got a group of people that are there, and 2 of them had already posted that their workout was done. Like, I can't just not show up for them. Like, I absolutely have to be there. What kind of coach would I be if I just didn't show up? Like, it kind of forces you in a good way to stay accountable, and it's absolutely worked wonders for me. So now I'm not afraid to fail. Honest to God, I'm not afraid of that anymore. I actually don't see how that would even be possible. I never lose sight of that vision of what my dream life is going to look like. And like I said, the people that I'm surrounding myself with, and like Tracy said, when you surround yourself with people that have the same drive as you and the same goals and are working hard towards the same things, it's almost impossible to fail. And this team has it made in the shade when it comes to like training, resources, like tons of resources to get you started, mentorship. I just don't see how it would be possible to fail. It's not possible, and it's not going to happen now. It's not a fear of mine. So my last point, not everybody has to be the next Ali Hybers, and not everybody wants to be, and that's okay. We have so many amazing coaches on our team that do this as a side hustle, just to earn some extra money on the side. They love their job and they're not looking to do this full time, and that's totally fine. But I mean, why wouldn't you want to, earn enough money to pay for your big family vacation every year, or do the home renovations that you've always wanted to do, while at the same time getting in amazing shape? Like, it just seems like such a no-brainer now that I'm looking back on it. The bottom line is, don't overthink it. We're all here to support you, and the training next week is going to be amazing. It's so in-depth, and again, you can't fail when you go through this training. You won't regret it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? You guys, I swear you won't regret it. So I think that's probably all I have to say. If you have any questions, drop a comment and I'd be happy to help you answer them.